So let me just tell you everything that happened, everything that went down. It was insane. It was a bloodbath. It was crazy. It was brutal. Like, literally, I was standing there thinking, it's brutal out here. I think I arrived at like 10:30. About 10:30 I arrived and at first I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. Like, it didn't sound like there were crowds of people waiting. It looked so empty, and it looked like Madison Square Garden didn't even open yet. So I was thinking, maybe it can't be that no one is queuing though. So then I kept walking, and everything was cordoned off with like the railings and everything until I reached one part of the entrance that wasn't cordoned off. And when I looked to my right, I saw a whole crowd of people over there queuing. I walked up to the entrance and the security asked me, "Hi, what are you here for?" And I was like, "I'm here to buy tickets." And then he was like, "Join the line over there." And I was like, "Wait, what?" As in, is that line for getting into the venue or is it for buying tickets? And he was like, "For tickets." And I couldn't believe my ears at first because I was thinking they probably wouldn't be selling tickets, or maybe they are, I don't know, but I didn't have my hopes up that high. And then I went to the back of the line. I was in line for like 2 to 3 hours. The security ticketing people were coming out with wristbands, yellow wristbands, and then they were giving it out to everyone, one batch at a time. And if you got the wristbands, you were then allowed to go into the venue, to the box office, and buy a ticket. And the people at the box office would actually ask you, "Do you have a wristband?" And if you don't have a wristband, they wouldn't sell it to you. If you have a wristband, then only will they sell it to you. So they were coming out giving people wristbands, and one group at a time people would go in, and each time the group went in, you have to wait like half an hour before the next batch of people were allowed to enter. And then when it reached around my turn to go in and become part of that big batch of people, the person who was giving out wristbands started going down the line and asking every single person how many tickets they're buying. And people would be like, 2 tickets, 1 ticket, 2 tickets, 2 tickets, 1 ticket. They asked me how many tickets I want. I said 1 ticket. And then a man and a woman, they were like going down asking everyone. And then I think the woman was like, "Okay, it's gonna end all the way over here." And I was like, "Yes, I'm gonna get tickets." And she was telling everyone behind that person, there's no more tickets, don't come back later, or whatever. If you want to try, you can come back at 6 and see if there are any last minute tickets for you to buy. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get the ticket." And then the guy was like, "Wait, no, that's wrong, like it's until here." And you know what, it was like right in front of me. It was a couple in front of me, and right in front of them was the end of the line. And the two of them were like, "No way this is happening. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, oh my gosh." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's no way this is happening. Like, seriously?" But the guy was telling us like some of the tickets are quite expensive for some people. So if the people in front with wristbands don't buy the tickets that they're offered, then it could mean that we would have the opportunity to buy the tickets. They were asking everyone behind us to leave, and then I was like, "So can I stay in line and wait and see if there are remaining tickets though?" And then he was like, "Yeah, you can, but like not everyone else behind." And then I was still standing in line, hoping and waiting. The woman and a police officer, female police officer, later on was like hounding us to leave. She was like, "Just leave, blah, blah, blah." And everyone was so shocked, and some of them just stayed where they were. I stupidly left the queue because I was like, okay, police officer's telling me to leave. I should just listen to her. I leave the queue, I turn around, and I see that the people right behind me still haven't left the queue. And I'm like, and they're talking to the police officer, asking questions and like blah, blah, blah. You know, like, is there really no way we can get tickets? Should we come back at 6? Things like that. And I was like, what? And so I was like, why am I the only one leaving the queue? So then I went back to the police officer. The police officer was telling him, the simple thing is this, all right? Like, you won't get tickets if you have no wristband. It's as simple as that. Like, if you have a wristband, go in and get the ticket. If you don't, you're not getting tickets. And then as she was saying that, the person was giving out the tickets. And then when she reached the last person in that queue that she cut off, there were 3 more wristbands to give out. So it was like me, who was first in line, right where they cut it off. And then the two people behind me were next in line. And then people behind them that were like squeezing in. And I had left the queue because I listened to their instructions. No one else did. Apparently, I get punished for listening to the instructions. I came back, I was like, excuse me, but I was first in line over here. Like I even said he knows that I'm right behind him. And then she was like, we're not doing this. She was being really firm with me. And then she told the woman, give it to her, and give it to her. And purposely not giving it to me. So hurtful and so mean. And I was so sad. I was like, this is crazy. But I wasn't about to fight the police officer. Like, she has a gun. I want to see Olivia Rodrigo, but I don't want to get shot because of it. So I was just like, okay. And then they were like, everyone, there's no more tickets. You can't enter. If you want, you can enter the venue and get merch though. So they let us enter. I did the bag check, everything. I entered the venue. I was looking at the merch, and then I noticed a group of people standing near the box office, and I recognized a few of them from the queue, and I knew that they were behind me. And so I was thinking, are they trying to wait it out too? So I walked over and I was like, hi, are you guys like waiting for the tickets or? And they were like, yeah. I'm just like pretending that I'm looking at the merch and just waiting and seeing if there are any leftover tickets. And then I started asking questions. I saw the couple right in front of me. They just finished their turn at the box office and then they walked over to the merch. And it was really weird because they looked so sad. And so I walked over to them and I was like, excuse me, can I just check if you guys got tickets? And he was like, yeah, but we only got one. And he looked so sad when he was telling me. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, that's so sad. I went back to the group and I was telling them like that couple was right in front of me and they were the last in line who got the wristbands. I asked him if he got the tickets and he said that they were told that they could only buy one ticket. So I was telling them like, I don't think there are any tickets left. So then we're just chilling there, waiting, just like with no hopes up, with a little bit of hope, and then just waiting there, chilling, talking to each other. And it was just like a group of us at the box office. Police officer was coming. She was kind of like chilling as well. She wasn't as firm, like, please leave, you know. She didn't really say anything. She just looked at us and then she put the poles to cordon off the area, but she didn't tell us to leave. And then suddenly the people at the box office were like, next in line. And then I was stunned. I was like, wait, what? And then I looked at the person next to me, and then I looked back at the box office and I looked at the police officer. The person was like, next. I might get tickets. And I was like, holy shit, there's no way. There's still tickets. And then the box office people were like waiting, like, next, like, what are you doing? And then the police officer and the guy from the queue who was counting the tickets, she told him, I know for sure that she, as in me, is the one who's next in line. And then there were like two people who got wristbands, and then they were like, why didn't you get tickets, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, who gave you the wristband? And then she was like, they gave me the wristband. And basically the girl had a wristband and she went in line and she was queuing to get the tickets, but it had to be 2 tickets for her, not just one. They only wanted to sell her one, so she didn't get the tickets. And then she had a wristband, so the police officer told those 2 people with the wristbands to go first. And then I was 3rd in line. And when I went in front. The woman was like, where's your wristband? And I was like, I don't have a wristband, but they told me that I could buy it. And then she was like, nope, you can't buy it if you have no wristband. And I was like, what? So I went back to the police officer and I told her like, hey, like she's telling me that I can't buy tickets without the wristband. What do I do? And so she went to the person at the box office and she was like, hey, like anyone that we send to you can buy tickets because we miscounted. After they told the box office person that, she was like, okay, you can buy a ticket. And then I was like, what are the best tickets you have? She was like, the best tickets we have is section 120. And I was like, how much are those tickets? And she said $199.50. And I was like, it's not floor tickets or whatever, like, can I see where that is? And that's the only thing you have, right? And she was like, yep, that's the only thing we have. I was like, okay, cool, let's go, get me that one ticket in section 120. And so she got it for me and I was like, whoa! And then she asked me for my name, first name, last name. She asked me for my phone number. And then she texted me the tickets. And then she was like, okay, I texted you the tickets. And then I opened up my message and checked that the tickets were there, and I was like, yeah, the tickets was there.
I got the tickets.
Yay! I got the ticket, and I said thank you, and then I went up to the police officer right after, and I said thank you so much. I'm so sorry for being annoying, and she was so nice about it. She was like, yeah, it's okay. You know, like, I was like, thank you, I really appreciate it. She was like, you're welcome. And then I just went over to the merch table.
Okay, now
I was
time for
so
merch.
happy, so excited. And I went over to the merch table, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna buy merch. Because now it has a reason for it, because I'm going for the concert and something to remember the concert by, and this whole crazy experience by. The next thing I will say is, I will share with you, is like the lessons I learned. Things that you should take note of if you're doing this kind of last minute ticket sales thing. Number one, go early to secure your chances. You want to be there at like 7 a.m. The earlier you go, the better your chances. I got really lucky because, like I said, I went at 11 and I was at the back of the queue, and I was just nice right where the wristband line ended. So if I had come earlier at like 7 a.m., I would probably have a lot of ticket choices to choose from, and whether it's floor tickets, different price ranges to choose from, and I would definitely get the wristband, and I wouldn't have to go through the crazy emotional roller coaster that I went through. Second thing is, when you go, do everything in your power to not get cut in the queue, okay? Because I heard some people were around the same area as me, and they were saying how they were here since 8 a.m. but their queue got cut somehow. I will say that usually it's really not the fault of the people in the queue, because everyone literally just follows the instructions of the staff. And I think the people who mess up the most in these situations are the staff. Like, they organize the queue so badly. They tell people to go here, they tell people to go there, they tell people to come from here and there. They tell people over here to join the queue over there. And like, I guess the person at the entrance doesn't know that the queue starts at the back of the building. So then when people come from here, this side of the building, and they come here and they ask, where's the queue? He says it's here. Actually, the queue is starting over there. So then a lot of new people are coming in and joining the queue over here, when there's like people who came at 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. who are coming and waiting to be brought over. So like, there's people around my area who came at like 10, 11, and then there's people who came at 8 as well in the same part of the queue, which is so messed up. That's of no one's fault. I mean, if you're absolutely the earliest person there, there's no way you're not gonna get the tickets. Even if people end up cutting your queue and you get brought over after some people cut your queue, if you're there early enough, it won't make that much of a difference. So go early. Second tip, what's the second tip? Or third tip? How many tips did I share? Anyway, next tip is, do not listen when they tell you to leave. Okay? Do not listen when they tell you to leave. At the end of the day, the people with power, the most power, are the people in the box office. They are the ones who know if there are tickets. If there's a miscommunication somewhere and the person managing the queue is told there are 100 tickets left, and then they go out and they count and they start cutting people off, that may still not be true if somehow, for some reason, the box office still has tickets left and they've told everyone to leave and there's still tickets left. So if they tell to leave the queue, don't leave. Unless everyone literally leaves, don't leave. Be the last person to leave the queue, okay? Because I know that when they told people to leave, a lot of people left. Some of us who wanted to still try, we stayed, you know, and like, we went into the venue to get merch. You know, we stayed around the box office after entering the venue, and turns out there were still tickets left. So I would say try your best. I mean, obviously don't get shot by the police officer, don't get put into jail, but all I'm saying is, when they're telling you to leave, it's normal to stand there and process it and be like, oh my god, I just wasted how many hours of my life standing here queuing for tickets that I didn't end up getting, and I'm so sad. And it's valid to stay there and process things. And there's going to be a lot of people who are crying and processing it. So stand there and process it with them and leave with them. But don't be the first one to leave. Because when you be the first one to leave, when you come back, people are messed up, okay? The people behind me, they know I was in front of them. But when it came down to it, when there were 3 tags in front of them and I was first in line, they were not gonna be like, yeah, she was in front of us, so give her 1 tag first and then give us 2 tags. They did not do that, and they, honestly, like, bro, you're so messed up. But I guess desperate times People do crazy things. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would have been truthful. I would have been like, yeah, he's in front of me or whatever. They should get the ticket, you know? So when you leave the line, don't expect strangers to be honest because their own interests are involved. So do not leave the line. And yeah, I think that's all for the tips that I have to share. But yes, I'm gonna do my homework now and go for the concert later. Bye!